Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining this joint webinar about protecting your bottom line with Cintoo. And this is a joint webinar that will be recorded and later published in our YouTube channel. It is a joint webinar with our reseller and partner, KOREC. I'm joined by Cesar Almeida, who is a real expert at various kinds of software workflows. And he really likes to keep it simple. So I'll be joined with him today. I will be doing an intro at the beginning about the Cintoo platform. My role in Cintoo is to manage the sales channels, and I'll cover briefly some of the functionalities about Cintoo. But the main discussion today will be how to optimize your bottom line using various workflows that Cesar Almeida is going to show. So thank you so much, Cesar, for joining us.
My pleasure for inviting me.
So
if everyone that is attending, everyone can hear us okay and see the screen okay? Can you just give us a thumbs up in the chat?
Yeah. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to add them in the chat. I'm joined by Dominic Policano, who's our CEO. He'll be moderating some of the questions as well. We hope this is a very engaging session, and having a discussion towards the end. We'll be really looking forward to your questions.
Just one comment. Hi, everybody. This is Dominic. Your questions should be asked in the Q&A panel, not the chat. Okay? There is a Q&A panel. Please feel free to answer your question there, and I will keep some questions for the end for the Q&A session.
Yes. All right. So for those of you who don't know Cintoo, Cintoo is a company that the technology started in 2013 in France. The main research was done by three PhDs looking for ways to stream very large point clouds, right? That this has been already quite a challenge for the industry for some time, to enable users to work with point cloud data in the cloud with a point cloud to mesh technology. Then in 2018, the technology was released to the market and as a platform as well, enabling customers to work with our solution from all over the world. We now have 50 partners and resellers across the world, over 50,000 active users. Our users have uploaded over 4 million scans into our platform. And we're very focused on our customers, so we have a continuous product development, around 2 major releases this year. This year has been a very big year for us as well, delivering drone data support, as well as a new product called Asset Tagging and Display, which we've been working for a few years, and we're really, really excited about that. So Cintoo works in mainly 2 industries, what we call the Industry 4.0. and the AEC industry that uses the BIM methodology. I think most of you are obviously quite familiar with the concept of digital twins, and the use of laser scanning has been really critical in obtaining accurate data to develop digital twins, right? And the challenge that we are facing, or that the industry has been facing until Cintoo came around, is how to bring the reality, right, whether we're talking about buildings or complex factories, into the virtual or digital world, right? And this has been accomplished through the use of reality capture, or more specifically, when we talk about reality capture in our context, it's about laser scanning, right? So laser scanning is not a new technology, but the challenge in adoption has been more about how do I manage these large point clouds, right? We're talking about large customers that have whether it's 10,000 or 20,000 scans, and how do they actually manage them and collaborate them, and how do they work more efficiently with them, right? So Cintoo's core technology enables customers to take their point cloud data, and we can process your point cloud automatically, whether it's a terrestrial scanner, whether it's a mobile mapping system from various vendors, right? There are various vendors in the market, Biometris, Navis, MSN, etc. And the terrestrial scanners as well. They're all very accurate. And we turn them into a high resolution mesh. Now, this resolution mesh is very important because meshing the data enables you to work with the point cloud data in a very efficient way, making the data 10 to 20 times smaller, right? This workflow is very efficient to upload the data, also to download it, which also becomes very interesting when you need to collaborate with this data in a very, let's say, a dynamic environment or very global environment, and you want to distribute the data without having to ship a drive. You can just use our technology to reconvert it back into a point cloud, or if you want to just export the data as a mesh, you're able to do that as well. Now, Cintoo allows you to work with your data fully in the cloud, and we're talking not just about the point cloud. As you see on the left icon, everything is meshed, and there's no need to mesh it; it's already meshed. We allow you also to work with your BIM and CAD models. You can pull models from platforms such as Autodesk Construction Cloud or from your computer. We also have a tool to help you do quality control of your 3D models against the point cloud data. You're able to also work with scans and what we call 2D images, right? Because it's 2D information, 3D models, sitemaps, and 360 images in one single project. We have the 2D panoramic, which we say 2D because 2D images, right, is just 2D information, but this is very useful when you need to navigate, right? This is the typical recap view. And the asset tagging and display, which I mentioned previously, it's a very powerful tool that we just recently launched. So if you're interested about that, I welcome you to visit our YouTube channel where the recording is there. Now, today's webinar is going to be very much focused on this specific module. We have other modules such as BIM and CAD module and asset tagging. This module that we call CSD, or collaboration, sharing, and distribution, is what we're going to be talking about today with Cesar Almeida and KOREC. And the way we do this with our technology in our platform, we allow you to work with your scan data in any location. By any location, I mean we have all the servers for Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS servers all over the world. So whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Europe, US, South America, and so on, you can choose one of these servers and then host the data securely. Additionally to that, by securely, I mean that our platform is certified and audited by the SOC 2 Type 2 report, which is an audit that we pass every year. So we take this very, very seriously to ensure the data is secure, which more and more it's a concern for many customers. And additionally to that, we have the ISO certification that we will be completing towards the end of this year. So when we talk about collaboration, I think all of you working with laser scan data or in the construction industry or in engineering projects, you all know that there's always various challenges working with point clouds or working with 3D data. But specifically with point clouds, this has been a main challenge, right? You could argue there are various reasons, whether it's vendor proprietary formats or very large point clouds, right? And with Cintoo, we've solved all of that, allowing you to work with your point cloud and give access to all users and all stakeholders. So that's really democratized the use of point cloud data in our industry. At the moment, you have 4 ways to share data, right? If I give you examples of other options that you have, for example, you could, number 1, you could upload it into Dropbox or SharePoint. Okay, that would be 1. 2 would be to use a Pottery-based solution, right? Pottery is an open source way of visualizing point cloud. So you could use a solution in the market that uses that, Or you can build it your own, because now it's quite easy. You can just ask ChatGPT, and it can help you to code that on your website. Or you can use a solution from various vendors. Most laser scanning vendors have a solution for viewing point clouds, which has its pros and cons. Lastly, obviously, the one that allows you more efficiency and higher collaboration is with Cintoo, where we allow you to work with data from any vendor, right? And with our technology, you can work with your point cloud data at the resolution of your scanner. You can start at 500 scans and then from there grow. So it's a platform that grows with your business. So there's no limitation how much scans you can work with or how many users you can collaborate with. So with that being said, I want to hand it over to Cesar Almeida from KOREC, who is going to be showing us some very interesting workflows to work with in Cintoo.
Okay. Thank you, Daniel. And again, thanks Cintoo for inviting me for be a guest presenter on this webinar. Just make sure my screen is coming okay on your side now as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as Daniel explained, the main purpose of this webinar today is how to explain to customers how to optimize the borderline. But let's keep it simple. Let's go back to the basics of what Cintoo is meant to do, which is meant to be a collaborative sharing and distribution platform for point cloud data and imagery, hence the CSD model. What does it mean? It means that we can collaborate using annotations, measurements, and viewpoints. You can collaborate from a specific viewpoint. Literally, it's not an analogy, literally from a specific viewpoint, and I'll show you that later on. We can share point clouds by seeing them, by downloading them, by cropping, having a limit box and say, Mr. Customer, you can have just what's inside this limit box for you to do what you will downstream in your workflow process. And you can distribute to unlimited users, unlimited projects, downloads. The only limit really, how many scans you want to distribute with your end users. And I will take you through each of these individual 3 points in more of a, let's say, how to kind of workflow. More importantly, I think we should be able to answer the question, so how does this protect the bottom line, really? And to us, I divided this into a few key points. Firstly, you're effectively safekeeping your data online. Storing it on a hard drive, which people can lose, which can get corrupted. The moment you accept the job, that data, then it actually becomes your customer's data because they're paying for it. And by allowing Cintoo to host the data for you, the data is secure, is protected, and they are audited every year under high standards that the data is actually secure and protected, and they are taking ownership, responsibility for that data as well, which is really important. You're differentiating yourself from your competitors by offering something different, by innovating. You're not doing just printing out some plans or offering a digital file. You are effectively offering a fully digital project delivery package. So I will show you how to do this, but you can actually include within the same link images, point cloud data, 360 imagery, video files, your CAD files, your models, 3D models, whatever it is, you can share all of that as a full project package. Everything safe, easy to use, easy to distribute with your end user, which you're not going to find anywhere else. There's actually back that I've been getting. We've all heard we're getting this amazing quality 3D data with images. Why are we boiling things down to? Why can't we give people access to this? With Cintoo, you can do both, actually. You can give them access to the 2D drawing package, which they can see, interrogate, download, but also you can give access to the reality of the point cloud and the good quality images that you can get from the scanners. and you're showing to the end user, actually, Mr. Customer, we don't do the same thing over and over again. We like to innovate because you are challenging us to do more. Therefore, we are doing more for you. So add value. We're doing 2D plans, and by the way, if you want to pay just a tiny bit extra, you can get access to all the things that you didn't know that you were missing before, or it might be everything that you want to do, but didn't know how. Great. This is actually a real nice example that Cintoo has uploaded in their website, and this is a perfect example of that full project delivery use case that I mentioned just a minute ago. Right here, there is a image, a snippet from Google Earth, scaled is to help position the project within the world, within planet Earth. And then within the same project, you have and measurements, annotations. You have the 2D CAD file, which you can see there on the left. You have viewpoints, different rendering modes, 3D Navisworks models, as-built Rabbit models, and just about 500 scans, which is actually not that much in the world of Cintoo. Cintoo has customers that have upwards just 20,000 plus scans within the same project. But this project can be shared over a link to anyone on the planet, to be open and reviewed by any compatible browser in your computers or tablets or mobile phones. This is one of ours, one of KOREC's ones. This is X12 data. The reason I included this one here is just to show how easy it is to create a little annotation. So an annotation, you'll lock it on a specific point of your point cloud. You can add a little text, a descriptive, a label, which you can then allow you to sort out annotations by labels or export them to a text file. There's a very nice interface, almost like sending an email, which you can also do from here, coincidentally. You can literally assign to a project member a little task. So I'm assigning a task to me to say, please go and do something about this lamplight because it's broken and it's fixing, whatever it might be. At this point, when I create an annotation, I'll get an email with a screenshot of what I'm seeing here with the task assigned to me privately that then will prompt me to go and do something. Quite easy to do, quite interactive, and it's something that the industry has repeatedly asked. If in a collaborative environment, this is something that's able to do. The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. What's the question? Measurements. Measurements are actually one of the basic things to do in the point cloud world. And what I like about Cintoo, it actually gives you the option to not just do a 3D measurement. You can also lock the measurements in the Z space, even just a height measurement or just a 2D measurement. And by the way, if you're anything like me, you can blame the user on this, but yeah, there's way too many decimal places on that measurement. We can bring that down to just 1 or 2 decimal places to be a bit more realistic. The highlight here, how easy it is to lock in a measurement. When you lock and save a measurement within Cintoo, you're also locking in that viewpoint. So you can share that viewpoint. So you can literally just create a link, share that specific measurement with anyone else outside of the organization for them to see the way you saw that measurement from that specific point of view. Other little thing that's not nearly talked about enough, different renderings of point clouds. So Cintoo has many different ways of rendering a point cloud because it tells a different story. So between changing from surface to X-ray view, which is what you have here, to RGB modes, to elevation modes, you can show and share a specific point of a point cloud from the way you saw it, from the rendering that help you tell the story of what was happening there a bit better. When you share this, will actually be shared from that specific, not only point of view annotation, with a rendering that you locked into place, which really helps drive in the value of having a point cloud, because you can change the way you're perceiving to see this reality capture information more than just a 2D plan or a measurement. And obviously, I was doing that from a station view, but there's nothing stopping me from doing it from the 3D view, the complete data set. How do we share? So there's plenty of ways to share projects. This is a list of projects that we have hosted with Cintoo that have data for all of our tripod-mounted scanners. And literally press a little sharing icon, which most of you will recognize. That gives you access to this little interface. You can password protect access to your project. You can request the end user to be a member of the project or not. You can add a little logo to your company there, and you can share either by a link or by a QR code, which is becoming more and more user-friendly as it goes along. But this will give access by a link to anyone on the planet. So this is a full Trimble X9 project, indoor one, for my friend and colleague. Actually, this is one of my friend's house. Is actually house Fabian. He lives in Colombia and was kind enough to share this data with us. So data in Cintoo can actually be shared not only from a complete point cloud data set, but you can share individual scan positions as well. This is the actual view, the shareable view. That there's a lessons to play, but it still gives the end user the ability to take measurements, the ability to do annotations, the ability to show to change the rendering, all sorts of different things. But many of these things are fully controllable and managed by the account administrator. To here, I'm going to leave this slide here for a few seconds before I hit next. This is actually go back for a second. Okay. This is actually a scan that I did in Cambridgeshire, like 20 minutes from where I live. And on the right, you have a little QR code that if you take your phones out and scan it, you'll be able to see the same data that I'm seeing here now. I'll leave that there for a few seconds. If you miss it, it's fine. You'll be able to see it again in the recording. But this is what you'll be able to see. And I'm giving you an example. Crop the data. Let's say I have a number of users doing this now. So you'll give access to the end user. It might be a surveyor, it might be an architect, and they can jump into the full point cloud. You can slice the data, a little slice for an elevation, for a floor plan, whatever it might be. And then you can ask Cintoo to say, please give me a file, a point cloud file, just from the slice that I just created. And the end user can actually export that file directly into a recap format so that he's ready to work in AutoCAD, for example. So this will be yet another example of what else we can download. So we can download individual A57 files. We can download the panoramic images from the scanners if they were to begin with, clearly. So if the data is not there, we can't download it. How does it work? So once you select some data to download, you'll get, at this point in time, this little application, which is Cintoo Connect. And Cintoo Connect allows you to export either gridded or ungridded files, structured or unstructured. If you go with structured, you get U57s or the recaps. If you go unstructured, you'll actually be able to. Also, if you choose to do so, you can decimate the point cloud on export, either to E57 or recap. So you don't have to, even though you are uploading the full complete point cloud with no decimation ability on import, it does offer you the ability to decimate the point cloud on export if you choose to do so, the customer's choice. Within the same limit box concept, you know right now that Cintoo has the ability to mesh things in real time automatically. So then within the limit box, you can say, please download mesh at a specified resolution in terms of the max size of the triangles that it's allowed to do. But the bare minimum that it will allow you to do is 20 mil, 2 centimeters, European guys. This is a mesh downloaded in FBX format, directly, fully automated, done in Cintoo, that indoor data set that I've shown you right now, and I'm showing this just on a free viewer that comes built into every Windows 10 and 11, which we call 3D viewer if you want to have a look. And you can see how clean and nice the mesh looks, even on flat surfaces. There's no triangulation, nowhere triangles being connected left and right. It's just amazing. Some people prefer to work with mesh for a number of applications because they tend to be less heavy on processing power. Again, something that is not firewall or blocked under an additional pricing feature. It's everything built in, closes within the base pricing for Cintoo. And this, for me, is actually two of the main things that make Cintoo a really, really nice partner to work with, because they have such a simple business model. You get charged by the number of scans that you want to upload, and that's basically it. Everything else, you have an unlimited number of users that you can share the data with, that you can invite to be part of your projects. You have an unlimited number of projects that you can create. Again, you have to share whatever amount of scans you have between said projects. You have an unlimited amount of streaming, so it doesn't matter whether you have one person accessing the project or 10,000. You're not going to be charged by the amount of data being streamed, be it point clouds, and that goes for downloads as well. So you can download anywhere on the planet the same point cloud over and over again, like there will be no tomorrow. You're not going to get charged more for that. Starting from, roughly speaking, at £100 a month, which will give you 500 scans. I say that it's £100 a month. Daniel will say that it's roughly €2 per scan, which is basically the same thing. Whatever sounds better on that side of the webinar. A little bit about us. So I work obviously for KOREC. KOREC is the Trimble distributor, one of the biggest Trimble distributors in the world, certainly one of the biggest ones in part of Germany in UK. And a sister brand called BuildingPoint. BuildingPoint is part of KOREC, but BuildingPoint differentiates themselves because they focus on vertical construction markets. So they have specific products, hardware, and scanners for building construction, essentially, things that go up vertically. The main goal of our company, KOREC, is to measure, map, and manage the natural inbuilt environment, and we have a number of solutions to help people achieve that. We live in UK and Ireland with physical locations in Huntingdon, which is where I live personally, and Liverpool, Go Reds. And also we have physical locations in Belfast and Dublin, which is one of the loveliest places you'll ever be in your life. If you ever get the chance, I will definitely recommend. But one of the things that sets us apart, we have local servicing and training for basically everything. So we provide local sales across the country, local training. We have staff to provide field-based training across the country, field support, office support. We are the only ones that can service and repair tripod-mounted scanners, i.e. X7 and X9 in the country. No one else can do that. And obviously we also hire and we provide professional services for our customer base. Within our portfolio, our current range of tripod-mounted scanners are controlled by a Trimble developed and supported tablet, which is the one that we have there. And we have this quite unique workflow, which we are using in conjunction with Cintoo, whereas at the end of a scan project, Trimble, the X series, X7, X12, and X9, they have this unique ability to be the only scanners in the market that can register, really square, arise, georeference, and export a point cloud all within the same tablet. And we thought, actually, if we can do that on the same tablet, what's stopping us from actually uploading that data directly to Cintoo, which we can. We'll just stop at McDonald's, whatever, have a sandwich, and upload the data anywhere on the world to be made available and shareable anywhere in the world, and this goes true for both the portfolios for KOREC Trimble and the building point. And you can share it anywhere with any person, to any computer. I purposely went with a generic picture there on the computer as to not have a very descriptive list of all the softwares that can be used with the point cloud data, because we can share it natively from the tablet, E57s and recap files, and you just proved you can download 57 files basically anywhere on the planet, and there's loads of different softwares that can read it, from TBC to RealWorks, AutoCAD, Recap, Navisworks, the list goes on. Just felt it would be easier to just say anything, anywhere, anytime on the world. Nice and easy without ever having to go back to the office to do so. Just to really make my point, these are the main scanners that Trimble has on their fleet, as tripod mounted scanners. From left to right, you have the X7, the X9, and the X12, and below a little snippet screenshot of the same data set that was captured on the same location by each of those scanners. And below that, a little QR code that will take you, and I will invite you to get your phones out or take a screenshot, fine, and scan that code, and you'll see that it will take you to the Cintoo project where that data is hosted. So you won't have permissions to download it, but you can certainly view it. And if you by any reason want to download it, just send myself or Daniel an email, private message. You know where to find us, and we will give you access to that project so that you can have the permissions to do a few other things, if that makes sense. Sure it does. Right. That's it for me.
Thank you, Cesar.
We'll now open the floor to some questions and answers.
Thank you, Cesar and Danielle. Yes, we have a few questions coming from the audience. One is about pricing on monetization for the Cintoo platform. Maybe Danielle, can you explain how we do monetize Cintoo? Is it based on the number of users or whatever?
Right. So Cintoo keeps it very simple, like Cesar said, and the way we monetize it, we start with a subscription of 500 scans, and by scans we mean scan setups. The same would apply for systems that are SLAM based or by drones. We create virtual vantage points. So these 500 scans is the basis of your subscriptions. You can increase it at any time, and during the period of your subscription, which is a year, right? You can increase the capacity to any amount. There's various, let's say, levels where there's 1,000, 5,000 or more. There really is no limit. And we don't monetize the users. We don't monetize you meshing the data, because the data is already meshed. It's part of Cintoo's actually patented technology. So it's a really easy to understand business model. And if you have any questions about it, you're welcome to reach out to us or to Cesar if you want to know more.
Thank you. So there was a question about mobile devices as well. So trying to formulate the question, you say it's based on the number of scan positions or setups. What about this point cloud coming from SLAM devices? Can you explain that a little bit more? Sure.
So SLAM devices are really making a big, let's say, a big splash in the industry, for lack of a better word. So there's a lot of SLAM systems, right? There are scanners from Navis. There's scanners, SLAM scanners from MSN, Biometries, right? There's a whole bunch of them in the system and in the market. The way we do it, again, really focus at keeping things simple. We create what we call virtual vantage points along the trajectory of the scanner, and these virtual vantage points will count towards what we call a scan, right? So You take your point cloud data into Cintoo Connect. Cintoo Connect will automatically give you some options as to how many virtual vantage points you want to create. And once you approve that, it would create this kind of viewpoints, which are ways in which you could navigate in 360 as if you were using a terrestrial scanner. We have the same process from data coming from drones. And we do this also to help you simplify the process, but also because customers are using Cintoo for actual inspections, right? So it's very important to be able to get into the data, to be able to have this 360 view for our customers, but then again, using Cintoo's mesh to be able to create analysis or measurements like Cesar was showing is very key for our customers as well.
Good. There was a question about drone data as well. Does it also work for drone data?
Yeah, sure. So with drone data, which is a feature we announced this year, we have a very similar process. We structure the data as well. So once you process the data from drone, whether you're using photogrammetry process, or many companies are starting to also, many vendors of drones are also using LiDAR. So this has been a big trend, like flyability, for example, is a good example of that. We take the data once you have a file like a E57 file of the point cloud, and then we restructure it automatically, just as we do with SLAM systems. And these virtual vantage points again will be your reference for your subscription.
Okay. There was a question about the for Cesar about you mentioned, Cesar, that registration for the Trimble devices happen on a mobile device. Does it mean that there is no post-processing at all on a desktop, or how does it work?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, my sound was cut off for a second. Not sure if you asked the question for me.
Yes, the question was about the processing or the registration that you mentioned happens on the mobile device for the Trimble devices. How does it work? Is it fully registered on the mobile device, or does it need to be post-processed on the desktop app?
Okay, so we have two types of customers. The vast majority of applications, they tend to fully register and refine their point clouds directly in the device, directly in the Trimble Titanet tablet. Project specific, some customers will do the registration in the office within Trimble RealWorks. But the direction of Trimble of the industry, they are challenging the manufacturers to basically move all of this workflow more towards the field, which is where Trimble is listening and trying to commit and respond to those market requirements.
Okay, good. How would you compare? So of course, the latest Trimble device is K9, right?
Yes.
How fast is it to scan with a K9? We know that speed is becoming of the essence. When it comes to scanning, comparing static scanner to mobile scanner, it's all about speed of scanning. How does it do on speed?
Yeah, this is the lesson that we are learning more and more as years go by. For us, it's always about how fast can you get to a result. So if you think about how it was for many years, you have to take your scanners out, you have to lay out targets, which takes time. Checkerboard targets or spheres. You have to bring in a total station externally to give control to make sure that your scans are not drifting as you're traversing your way through a building or whatever. And then you have to take all of that data, download the data into office space. Sorry, drive back to the office, download that data, register the data, apply control, check the registration, export. Which obviously, if you will then add all of the time that you took in the office, capturing all of this data from different sensors and then registering and checking the data and applying control in the office, it's a lot of time. And in that sense, the fact that you can do all of those tasks directly on site with our scanners effectively make them the fastest tripod-mounted scanners anywhere on the planet right now. It's not even a question. So it's not about doing things fast. It's about doing them right from the beginning. Make sure the data is correctly captured, the right data, and checked, georeferenced before you ever leave site. I stand proud of the products that Trimble has at the moment in that portfolio in that sense.
Good, thank you. There was a question about the speed of meshing as well. How you need to, since Cintoo will turn point cloud into meshes, how fast does it go using Cintoo Connect?
So the meshing happens in real time. To download a mesh, which I imagine that will be the question, it depends on the resolution. So that little model that I've shown, I did it at max resolution. It was just a room. It took, the process is offline. So what happens is you do a little cropping, you ask the platform to generate a mesh at a specific resolution. Once you hit the button, you'll get a little message saying, once this is ready to download, you'll get an email notification and a link to download it.
Okay.
For a specific example, a room, it took roughly between 5 and 10 minutes, I want to say, at the max resolution.
Okay, good.
Too long, to be fair.
The question was more on the upload side, and I can answer this one because, in fact, when we take the point cloud from the device after it has been registered, turning this into meshes and then uploading the data to the cloud. So the meshing will take about 1 minute per 10 million points, but you can run so that 1 minute per 10 million points. So if you have scans of 10 million points, it's about 1 minute per scan. If you have scans of 40 million points, could be 3 to 4 minutes, but you can also run multiple meshing in parallel on a multi-core computer. Okay, so it can be really fast to do this point cloud to mesh transformation, and the upload, of course, depend on the speed. But when we do this point cloud to mesh, we do compress the data with no loss of information. On the compressing, meaning that the mesh that will be uploaded will be about 10 to 20 times smaller in size than the source point cloud. So everything uploaded to the cloud will be mesh-based, 10 to 20 times smaller than the source point cloud, without any loss of resolution. And this is really about the patent on the core technology of Cintoo, because we can turn back this mesh in the cloud back to a point cloud, as Cesar explained, and then you will retrieve your source point cloud. So this is really, really interesting. That's all I had as questions. Thank you again, everybody. This webinar will be ready to be played again from YouTube channels. Yeah, it's been very interesting. Thank you very much for everybody. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Cesar.
Thank you. Thanks, Cesar.
My pleasure.
Thank you, everyone,
Thanks, everyone,
for joining.
for attending.